The West Virginia Senate kills the religious freedom bill. I'm Dakota Hoover, and straight ahead on WVU News, I'll tell you how businesses were reacting to this controversial bill.
A local middle school teacher is bent on shattering West Virginia stereotypes. I'm Tristan Webster, and coming up next on WVU News, I'll tell you what she teaches her students.
Every single minute, 3 internet crimes take place. I'm Brooke Chaplin, and straight ahead, I'll tell you how this statistic affects internet users in Morgantown. Our Emmy Award-winning WVU News starts now. After weeks of debate, the West Virginia Senate recently shut down a bill that prevents discrimination against the LGBTQ community. I'm Brooke Chaplin.
And I'm Keith Willis. A local school teacher is working to show her students how to fight against stereotypes, and we'll introduce you to her.
These stories and more on WVU News, an Emmy Award-winning newscast produced by television journalism students right here at West Virginia University.
It's been a busy legislative session for West Virginia, and one of the most controversial laws voted on was the Religious Freedom Restoration Act.
The bill was just struck down by the state Senate and extends protection to the LGBTQ community here in the state. Reporter Dakota Hoover joins us in the studio to tell us more. Dakota?
Thanks, Keith and Brooke. Opponents feared the bill could have been used to discriminate by allowing businesses to choose not to serve those that identify as part of the LGBTQ community. The bill was struck down with a 27-7 vote. Before it was denied, while this bill was moving through legislation, the Morgantown community had already taken a stand of its own against discrimination of any kind. Concerns over the Religious Freedom Restoration Act's effect on the state economy recently prompted Morgantown Chamber of Commerce to create a resolution against discrimination. Director of Business Development Jack Thompson says this position is vital to a growing community.
We just think that this resolution was important because it's important to the future of Morgantown. It's important to our economy, it's important to our businesses, it's important to the university.
City Council supported the Chamber by adopting their own resolution at a recent meeting. Councilwoman Nancy Gann says a recent WVU study only strengthened their position.
And it's clear that it's important to have diversity, to have economic growth.
Small businesses throughout the state began placing signs like these in their windows, allowing customers to know they will not discriminate. Thompson says local businesses may soon follow.
Been a local group that has been working with local businesses and residents to kind of campaign against any discriminatory legislation. So you might see some stickers or placards in local businesses.
In 2014, Morgantown became the second municipality in West Virginia to pass a non-discrimination ordinance. 6 others have since joined, while 3 more have resolutions in support. Deputy Mayor Bill Kowecki says the city has long supported diversity.
What we've done here as a city is just simply expressed our position, and our position is that we are inclusive, that we are tolerant.
The WVU Student Government Association has adopted an anti-discriminatory resolution as well. There are currently 21 states that have some kind of religious freedom restoration law, but in 2015, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Texas introduced legislation to amend or supplement their laws. Brooke and Keith, back to you.
Brooke, if 2008 was the Facebook election, then how will history remember the 2016 presidential race?
Well, Keith, here's a hint. Check your Twitter for clues. Technologies like Twitter and Snapchat let candidates talk directly to voters.
Abby Lafferty joins us now from Social Square with the latest in social media and pop culture news to tell us more. Abby?
Today, over 73% of Americans use social media to get their daily news. I learned more about how these politicians are using this new way to campaign to gain popularity in the polls.
Since the elections in 2008, more politicians are turning to social media sites to promote themselves to younger voters. Campaign follower and political savvy voter Justin Zick believes that social media is a huge part of these political campaigns.
A lot of candidates do things on social media to get attention. For example, Mr. Trump, he'll usually say something outrageous or what most people would find as, disqualifying, but, he can do whatever he wants.
Candidates for the 2016 presidential elections use more social media sites than any other politicians of the past.
According to the Pew Research Center, after the 2014 midterm elections, 16% of registered voters followed political candidates on social media.
And WVU political science professor David Hauser believes that social media is a regular component when running a campaign.
I think there are two reasons. First, I think that it allows them to communicate directly to their supporters. Pre-social media, you had to work through the traditional media, and then you had to worry about those folks interpreting what you said, and then perhaps mangling the message that you want to get across.
While 45% of cell phone owning registered voters use apps, only 8% of these users have used apps from a candidate, political party, or interested groups to get information or updates about the campaign. Candidates for the presidential elections use social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. They even use Snapchat to keep the public up to date with their campaigns.
Candidates are expected to spend more than $500 million advertising on social media. And get this, according to 2015 research, about 35% of millennials say that reading a political post on social media would influence their vote for president. Brooke, back to you.
Thanks, Abby. While social media sites can be helpful in campaigns, cybercrime is on the rise, with more than 4,000 cyber attacks every day. I had the chance to learn how cybercrimes are affecting internet users in Morgantown and what you can do to protect yourself. In 2015, nearly 600 million Craigslist postings were published online, but no one ever thinks they'll fall victim to a scam. Yet for one Morgantown resident, that's exactly what happened.
He was going to write me a check that I would, put in the bank, and it would be no problems. But it ended up being that he had written a check for too large an amount, and he wanted me to put that in the bank and then give him the rest of the money because it was an accident.
But Jabari isn't the only victim. Similar crimes continue to happen nationwide. Nearly 3 internet crimes happen every minute on sites like this. But the odds of choosing a post associated with one of those crimes is 1 in 2 million. Even with that low statistic, Craigslist crimes still happen. According to Chief of Police Ed Preston, one of the biggest Craigslist scams in Morgantown involves people renting out properties that aren't actually theirs.
They'll post an image or a picture and an address of something, a house or an apartment or a duplex or whatever, and say it's going to be available for rent during this time frame, and then it's actually not, and they'll take a deposit, and it's not available for anything because they don't own it.
More than 3 billion people use the internet today, but when buying stuff online, Jabari advises people to be safe and practical.
Obviously, don't be, dumb about it. Like, don't meet up with somebody in like a secluded area in the dark or something.
Law officials say that when buying stuff off of Craigslist, bringing someone along is always a good idea. According to the world's largest information tech company, IBM, nearly 2 million cybercrimes happen each year, or nearly 3 attacks every minute.
Brooke, many cyber hackers report that the #1 way they gain access to accounts is because of weak passwords. Another tip to avoid becoming a victim is to not respond to pop-up windows.
Keith, the state of West Virginia often gets unjust criticism from other people across the United States.
That's right, Brooke. But one local teacher is showing her students what it means to be from the Mountain State. Reporter Carolyn Goldstein joins us for more. Carolyn?
A local middle school teacher is working with her students to help learn about West Virginia's history and fight against the state stereotypes through her program, Shattering Stereotypes. Reporter Tristan Webster had a chance to learn more about the program.
Here at the Morgantown Learning Academy, Dr. Jennifer Osha is bent on giving her students an education they won't get anywhere else. Her program, Shattering Stereotypes, focuses on empowering students in an active learning environment.
We learn about the history of our state, including our heroes and our organizers, our labor organizers, and people who have stood up and spoken truth to power, and have my students learn that history.
On top of history lessons, students also learn about West Virginia topography and wildlife. Another key part to Dr. Osha's class is the field trips taken all across West Virginia. The class goes as far south as Matewan and as far east as Spruce Knob.
It's a great group of kids. They want to learn, they're excited to learn. They push us and they challenge us to do more.
At the core of her curriculum, Dr. Osha feels her classes can also teach valuable life lessons.
What is most important to me is that they are learning about the history of standing up to injustice that has often been left out of our state history.
Thanks to help from other institutions, Dr. Osha hopes her students will be ready to tackle the issues of today and the future. Tristan Webster, WVU News, Morgantown.
The program is a year long, and at the end, students will each have to write an essay about their vision for West Virginia in the future. Brooke and Keith, back to you.
Thank you, Carolyn, for that report. Brooke, the Monongahela River was the place to be on February 27th, as many locals jumped into frigid water for a worthy cause.
That's right, Keith. The 12th annual Polar Plunge was held to help bring awareness and raise money for the Special Olympics. Both newcomers and veterans of the event came out to take the plunge into 20-degree water and also compete in a costume contest. The event saw nearly 100 participants and helped raise over $17,000 for the Special Olympics of West Virginia. Each person was required to raise a minimum of $50 to participate, and several local businesses also came out to support the cause.
That sounds like fun, Brooke. Now turning to men's basketball. The regular season just wrapped up, with the Mountaineers finishing second in the Big 12 after defeating Baylor.
Coming up, sports reporter Jordan Kramer will tell us what we can expect as the team heads to postseason play.
I'm Jordan Kramer, and coming up next on WVU News, I'll tell you all about the madness the Mountaineers are going to face this March.
Every journey starts with a first. How will you go first?
Brooke, the WVU men's basketball team just finished their regular season with a 24-7 record.
That's right, Keith, but their season is far from over. Sports anchor Jordan Kramer is here to tell us more. Jordan?
Thanks, guys. So far this season, Bob Huggins became tied for the 9th most winningest coach in NCAA history. And Devin Williams, well, he scored his 1,000th career point. But right now, those feats are being put on the back burner. The month of March is upon us, and every basketball fan knows the madness that's about to ensue. With the Big 12 tournament only hours away, I caught up with the team to learn how they feel going into tournament play.
32. That's the number of games the WVU men's basketball team has played this season, but none of them hold as high of an importance as the games they're about to be playing.
That's one of our main goals is to win the Big 12. Something we've been wanting to do since we all got here, so that'll be a great accomplishment to win that.
This year, the Big 12 is recognized as one of the toughest conferences in collegiate basketball, and tallying 24 wins is no easy feat.
It'll mean a lot, you know. It'll make history for us. Something West Virginia has never done since they've been in the Big 12.
The Mountaineers will head to Kansas City with their highest ever tournament rank since entering the Big 12. And this team has one of the highest chances to bring the hardware back to Morgantown.
For the past 3 years, the Mountaineers have been knocked out in the first round of the Big 12 tournament. But that doesn't change Coach Huggins' expectations for this year.
I always expect to win. Always.
If the Mountaineers win the Big 12, they'll be given a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
The Mountaineers will play the winner of the Texas Tech TCU game tomorrow. They will have a little time to recuperate as the NCAA tournament will start just 3 days after the Big 12 championship game. Keith and Brooke, back to you.
Thank you, Jordan. Everyone here at WVU News wishes the team good luck as they enter tournament play.
We would also like to congratulate Troy Clemens, who was just selected as the new Mountaineer mascot. Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of WVU News. You can visit us online at our website.
You can also watch any of our shows on YouTube, and please follow us and our reporters on Twitter. I'm Keith Willis.
And I'm Brooke Chaplin. Thanks for watching WVU News. We'll see you next time.